And we're back. Back again.
How's your RG?
A little bit better. I think I'm at 30%.
Okay.
One thing I've noticed, though, throughout this fascinating time in my life, the only flavours that I can get are sweet.
Ooh.
Which is interesting.
No, well, hopefully today
You'll
you'll taste the wine.
But yeah, so, and yesterday I spent a few minutes talking to a friend of mine who is experiencing the exact same problems and the exact same level.
Right.
Because I said to her, like, hey, if you want, on Saturday I'm going to celebrate with some birthday drinks. And she was like, if I'm okay. I was like, oh, you too? And we just like, so I can't smell for 2 days. Me neither. Oh, it's so great. We're both dying together.
Well, that was a common problem among the COVID victims.
When it first happened, I was like, oh my God, maybe I've got coronavirus. And then none of the symptoms are the same.
You are the virus.
I am the virus. Oh dear. So today we are having, this is probably our weirdest and most small production wine of the box.
Yeah, and one of my choices. Choices.
Yes. Let me open this bad boy.
We were introduced by the girl of Banthao.
Was it Banthao?
Banthao introduced us to Esteban Thelemin.
Was it her?
Yeah.
Oh, I never knew.
And then he brought his wines to the shop, and I had the pleasure to taste them. They were really good. He explained me everything about why he chose these to release the wines with no label as a denominación de origen or a vino de la tierra. We will talk about that later. And his wines were really, really good.
And really original.
Yes.
Which is nice.
It is really a signature wine, and that is going to be one of the topics we will talk today.
Like a nice little trailer there. So stay tuned for more.
Yeah.
So what are we? So he's got quite a lot of wines. We're having this one.
La Golosa Perezosa. This is one of the wines of Esteban Thelemin. This winemaker, young winemaker, who is really new in the block, right?
Yeah, I don't know when he started because I can't find much information. Oh, I spilled the wine on the table.
My God. Look, Darakan.
Be right back.
The older he's becoming, the more stupid. He's gonna be 1 year older this weekend, so he's very stressed and he's not having a good week.
Well, I hope I don't have to cancel our dinner reservation tomorrow.
Why?
Yeah,
Why you should do it?
If I can't taste anything, I'm not going to a fancy restaurant.
Well, I will explain you what you should taste.
Yeah. Really good.
You would like this. Oh, really?
You would love these croquetas. Oh, that's good.
I'm happy to hear that.
Yeah, I'm so
They're
glad you're having
very
a good time.
expensive.
Yeah. I shall pay? Okay, great.
But yeah.
Right, should we start with the basics as per usual?
So, yeah, name of the wine, La Golosa Perezosa.
The lazy sweet thing.
It's part of a family of other wines like the Melquiades.
Oh my God! Huellas,
Últimas Huellas, etc. So it's
one named after his grandma, which is Senora Valle.
Senora Valle, exactly. So vintage.
This is the 2019, I think. Yes, 2019.
2019. Grapes.
Albillo.
100%.
100% Royal Albillo.
We tasted this grape before with the Balduero, right?
We've had.
Balduero is Albillo Real.
Yes, that was Albillo Castellano, no?
No, Albillo Real.
Didn't we have a different Albillo once? The Madrid one.
Madrid one. No, but for sure we tried.
We've had loads of Albillos. Never before have you tried
Balduero tasting.
Yeah.
You will have a lot of information as well.
Yes.
So. Alcohol content. Sit down.
15%.
15%. Have you ever seen a 15% white wine?
If you don't believe me, Kimthe.
15%. That is a lot of wine. a lot of alcohol.
That's a lot of wine.
That's a lot of alcohol.
Yeah, it's quite a lot of booze. We'll explain again why later. Stop getting ahead of yourselves. Just wait.
So, beware.
Yeah.
Producer Esteban Telemin.
Yeah.
And the region, no one knows.
No, it's kind of...
Castro Nuño is the name of the village.
It's sort of between...
And it is between
Rueda
and Toro. Yeah.
But it's not one or the other.
Yeah,
Just a
exactly.
village. Can we have a sip now?
Yes, so go for
cheers.
the visual face.
Golden.
Yes.
Lovely, you can see there. It's a lovely gold colour. A little bit...
So creamy, so good.
Let me see if I can actually smell it. Here's the big test.
Can you?
There's stuff going in. It'd be interesting to see if our notes are different though. Because remember, I'm working on less percent here.
It gets a lot of cream, butter.
See, I don't get any of the creamy stuff with my current nose. I get loads of like, sort of, this might be my broken nose. I get like sort of nuts and yeast and spice. Is that? And do you get any of that?
Yep.
Okay.
As well.
Oh, it's really interesting.
It's very intense.
Really, if it can get into my
it's
head,
really intense.
It's intense
and very. It is like a nice, warm, and intense aroma.
Yeah, it doesn't smell just like it's fruity. It's
No,
like
no, no.
really
It's
complex.
It's not. It is compota. How do you say compota? Jam.
Yeah, compote or jammy fruits,
Yeah.
stewed fruits. What are the fruits though? I want to see if we smell different fruits.
Well, I get out of apricots and.
Yeah, it's not citrusy at all.
It reminds me. It reminds me of this membrillo.
Yeah. That's quince. It does. Very good.
Thank you.
Right, let's have a taste.
Wow. Still, I mean, it's not.
It's not as sweet as I thought.
Exactly. It's not a sweet wine. It's not a semi-sweet wine. It has like a sweet note.
Yeah, it's like.
But it is ready for being a wine you could use for eating with. It would pair. Well, we will talk about that in a few seconds. But
Very interesting. He has managed to maintain a very good level of acidity with a great, I'll talk about our BO. our whole podcast, our whole tasting is, we'll talk about that later. I'll talk about that later. But this is not a variety.
but everything will happen.
It will happen.
Sooner or later.
But this is not a variety with a lot of acidity traditionally. But he's managed to maintain it quite well. The good thing is, even though I can't taste and smell that much, my saliva glands still work.
Yeah.
But you can also get the alcohol. I can feel a little when I do the test. I can feel a little bit of heat, which I love, because I'm a raging alcoholic.
Yeah.
What else?
That's wrong.
And interestingly, because like I say, I can get sweetness at least. But I thought it was going to be sweeter. It's just sort of flirting with the idea of sweetness. It's not a sweet wine.
Exactly.
You know.
Not even a semi-sweet.
That's lovely.
Do you know the amount of sugar?
Yes, 8 grams.
8 grams is not
Which is not
super high.
very much. Marietta,
Marietta is 10 or 11.
11.
Yeah.
And I think it's balanced by the glycerol. The alcohol's helping to smooth
Exactly.
it all out. It's very smooth.
So this is just a sweet touch.
I'm
But
also really happy I can start to taste things.
how would you translate golosa? Goloso.
Yeah, that's a good thing. This word doesn't really exist. I mean, it would be translated as sweet, but it's not sweet. It's like sort of sweety, little bit sort of sweet.
Exactly.
Like when we try a wine which is really fruity, it smells of sweet fruits, the winemaker will go, es un vino en nariz como goloso. It smells it's fruity sweet, but it's not sugary sweet, if that makes sense. We don't really have a word for it. It's such a rich language.
Spanish. Yeah.
Even though we have 3 more times words than you.
Useless words.
Useless words, but lots of them.
Yeah.
Right.
Pairing. What would you pair with this wine?
This
Well,
is the thing.
I've been thinking it's perfect for cheeses,
Yeah, very good. with cheese.
especially with creamy cheeses. It would go perfect with a torta del casar, or with a nice queso de tetilla.
Today I'm going to have it with microwave curry.
Oh.
Maybe that will get. I think it would work. If I add some hot sauce to a spicier dish, this would go really well with curry.
Next,
No, but it will. Spicy
yes, it
foods,
will
I
work.
think.
It will work as well.
I mean, ignore the microwave part, but a curry, I think
but
would be very good.
with certain dishes, Oriental dishes like gyozas would work as well.
Oh.
You know,
A
or
bit of soy sauce, sweet and salty.
foie, for example, would go perfect with this.
Oh, my tummy is growling.
Yeah,
Yeah, so this little Golosa touch, this little nut sweetness is really useful for food pairings.
exactly.
Because it will help sort of cut things in a different way. You're not looking for like this. I wouldn't have this with fish probably. Like this, I would have an albarino with fish, and I wouldn't have this. I probably wouldn't have it with white meats either. It could go, but like you said, like Asian dishes.
But if you for example if you cook your chicken with curry or teriyaki sauce, it would go perfect. With
I
this.
cooked chicken teriyaki
Really?
3 days ago. I'll show you the photo.
I'm not sure I want to.
I did gyozas and chicken teriyaki. Here we go.
And you missed the wine.
But it was an experiment.
Oh,
Not bad, eh?
yeah.
So I did
They
that.
look good.
And it was an experiment because it was Sunday, and I wanted to do
Frozen gyozas.
They were frozen, yeah. But I was like, okay, I need to have some big flavors to see if I can. Because on Sunday I was like, can't breathe, and that was when I realized the only thing I can taste was sweet. So soy sauce, nothing. There was no saltiness. So I need to repeat it because I didn't taste it very well.
So you chose a teriyaki.
But the teriyaki sweetness got through.
Yeah, exactly. So, suggested glass, normal glass. I wouldn't go for a super big one. Temperature, 10, 12, 10,
Quite
12.
cool, nice and cool. Yeah.
Price. This is the bad news.
I don't know how much this one is. I think it's about €15.
15 something.
None of his wines are cheap. None of them are expensive, but none of them are
No,
cheap.
he's in the range of, hey guys, I'm a
Small winemaker making extraordinary
wine,
singular
so
wines. So give me
take
some
it easy
freaking money. Yeah?
and show me your money.
Yeah, none of them are crazy expensive. I think they're all about 14 to 17 or something.
Exactly. So it's not crazy, but it's not cheap wine.
No, exactly.
Well,
Now
this is the tasting sheet of the La Golosa Perezosa. I have two doubts.
dots or doubts?
Doubts.
Okay, I have 2 dots.
I have two dogs
You have 2 dogs and 2 dots and 2
and
dots.
two doubts. One of them has no answer. What is the meaning of Golosa? It was a translation of Golosa.
Yeah.
The other one is Perezosa, lazy.
Lazy.
Why lazy?
Well, this wine.
Why this wine is a sweetie lazy grape.
You sweet lazy bitch. So this wine, well, in a moment we have a lovely video from him, and he'll explain a little bit more. But very very quickly, this wine is made with what we call wild or native yeasts. So Esteban, like a lot of winemakers, they choose not to buy cultivated. It's natural, but purchased yeast to help along your fermentation and start it. So instead, you let the fermentation start naturally with the yeast that's on the skins, on the grapes. Now, in the case of this one, there's so much flipping sugar in these Albio grapes, which is one of the reasons why it's 15%, because yeast changes sugar to alcohol, that there was not enough yeast to finish the fermentation completely. So he was joking that they are lazy. So it's like, you lazy yeast, finish the job. And they're like, no. So it's lazy because this barrel of wine could not be bothered.
But it's drunk
finish.
yeast.
Drunk yeast. So it was lazy because it didn't finish its work, and it's a little bit sweety because there was 8 grams of sugar left, which, like Rocky said, is not a lot of sugar. It's a little tiny bit. So he called it La Golosa Perezosa, and he's got loads of funky names. We also sell Melquiades, which is named after his granddad, which is a 16% Tempranillo from Toro, which is extraordinary. But they've all got very personal names because they're all wines that are made of one sort of set plot of land. I think we have a photo of Castronudo here.
Castronudo.
Actually, we can show a photo of Esteban actually and his sister. Well, we've got loads of photos.
What should I start?
Let's show the place first. It's very pretty.
Okay, this is Castronudo.
Castronudo. So it's basically at a bend in the river. Now that is the Duero, the mighty Duero River. So we have to be careful that we're not talking about Toro. We're not talking about Rueda as denominaciones de origen, but it's the same kind of idea, right? We've got the lovely, look at that, so pretty, lovely, beautiful river, and basically Esteban, he does it with his sister Maria Jose as well. But Esteban is essentially a crazy man. He is a crazy, passionate winemaker, and he essentially, along with his sister, they wanted to sort of rescue these abandoned vineyards. It's a nice photo, isn't it?
Yeah.
That's the...
Are they drinking this one?
That's his grandmother's wine. That's the Senora Valle.
Senora Valle. Senora Valle.
But, the idea was they wanted to rescue these abandoned vineyards. So they found these kind of plots of land with these unique sort of sandy above and then more compact sandy soils below in this bend in the river Duero. It's so romantic. Like, I found this area where I'm going to make the wine I want to make. So it's this kind of passion product essentially. What is fun about the way he markets the wines, you can see this one's green, our bottle. There's also the white wines, which have yellow.
The code of colors.
The code of colors, like
the wax,
like the countries with the coronavirus now. We're amber, not green yet. So red wines obviously have a kind of a purple wax.
Yes.
The white wines have a yellow wax, and the self-proclaimed Vinos Raros, the
weird
wines, have green. So we chose for you, lucky drunks, one of the weird ones.
Well, they should meet Esteban in person.
Yeah, this is strap in, because this is the most personal and the most informative video we've ever had.
You will love. You will love it, for sure. You will.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Hello my friends of Madrid Tarracot. Hello my friends Roque and Luke and all your people. Good morning. So my name is Esteban Celemin. I am a tiny viñedo here in Castronuño. Castronuño is the southest part of the River Duero. So it's very easy to understand where I am. To the east we have Rueda, to the west we have Toro, and we are just the border between Rueda and Toro. And there is a key thing here is that the river, when it was created 7 million of years ago, we don't have the typical soils of Rueda, neither from Toro. The river created just a triangle of sandy soil in the top and very compacted sand that is called arenisca. And this marks the style of the wines that we do here. From the historical point of view, also in the year 1700 year, we received here a grape that is the Albillo Real. It came from the San Martín de Valdeiglesias and Cebreros, because the monastery in Rozas de Puerto Real, they had very good relationship with the Colegiata de Toro. And this grape is a table grape that was used to eat at the end of July, beginning of August, and later the wines were done at beginning of October and were called the Vino Precioso. After Phylloxera, my heart, after Phylloxera, it was replanted again with Albillo Real. But during the 70s, this grape, it was completely abandoned because it was not needed anymore just to have table grapes. Now, something like 15 years ago, I realized of this situation. And tasting wines from the northern Rhone, like the Viognier in Condrieu, like the Marsanne in Gros-Hermitage and Hermitage in Saint Joseph, and some wines from south of Rome, like the Osam, I saw this texture, oily texture, and the amplitude of the wine, and I thought, these are the wines that the old people in my village is doing every year. And then I tried to procure some grapes, and I realized that all the vineyards have disappeared. And I thought, I need to rescue. And from that thought to the fact, now 10 years later, this is what I have. You can see here, this is a plantation that I did in 2014, and I planted 1,500 plants, and each plant comes from a different plant from 3 old vineyards in Castronugno. This means that this is a bank of germoplants of the Albillo Real grape. Is a way to recover the DNA of this Albillo Real in Castronugno. Also, some key point of this plantation is that you can see that I have different training system. I have the standard goblet, you can see here, open in the middle, and later we will attach the shoots here. And I have, this is vertical training that is very good because the Albillo Real bends very quick, and you have all the bands well protected from the direct exposure to the sun, but with very good air ventilation. That is very important. Here we are in the natural entrance to Toro, with very continental weather, very extreme temperatures, and we have July and August with very extreme temperatures. So the viticulture here, we need, I like to say, umbrella. That is cover, not direct exposure to the sun, but with very good ventilation. And very important also that the shoot can move in order that you have this refrigeration by the air movement. Okay? Also we have, you can see here, these are, I will come here inside, come on, and we have here. This is a trellis system, but very narrow, is 1.2 meters between each other. And here what I was trying is that we have the east, we have the west, so the sun, when it is 3 o'clock in the morning, you need to avoid direct exposure of the bunch. So this trellis will give shadow to this one, to the bunch. Okay? And the other one that you see there is called scroll. It's an American scroll. And we have the advantage that it should go to its side and again protect from the sun. I do a wine from this plot that is called Señora Vale. She was my grandma, and it's a homage not only to her but all the old people that dedicated his life for the agriculture. And now this is Señora Vale wine. I elaborate just by ripening moment each part of the plot, and it's food truden, Saint de Bourvas, and go to ferment to barrel without any addiction, without any yeast, without add any cultivated yeast. And what happens when you don't add any yeast is that some of the barrels, the end of the fermentation, start to be very slow, and because I don't do anything, I don't put warm, I don't put cultivated yeast, some of the end are not able to complete fermentation. And this is the origin of the wine that you are going to taste today, because this was a very singular wine, and it's a single barrel of 225 liters that did not complete fermentation and maintain 8 grams of residual sugar that gives this sweetness that in Spanish we say goloso, and the name of the wine is Perezosa, that in English is
Lazy.
lazy sweet, Golosa Perezosa. So it's lazy because didn't want to complete fermentation, and because of this convert to sweet, Golosa Perezosa. The wine, you will see that in the nose you will see very sweet aromas like sweet almond, like the turrón from Navidad, and you will see some cinnamon, and you will see a ripe stony fruit, very very clear, and in the mouth it's very expressive at the entrance, explosive, but you will see that it's very lively acidity, and the main word for this is flavorsome, lot of flavors and lot of pleasure. So my friends, I hope you enjoy the wine, and I wait for you here to share it with you. Good luck.
Thank you very much, Esteban. That was a long video.
We opened another bottle of wine. So usually we have to provide all the information, but not today. You got an agriculture lesson, you got a farming lesson, you got a history lesson,
and how to wear a hat with wind.
I like it. I like it. Fly that goes, my hat.
Thank you very much, Esteban.
Gracias.
We really appreciate your collaboration and the effort you made for having the wine in our boxes.
Yeah.
And well, we will continue working with you. We are so proud to be one of the first shops in Madrid to have your Melquiades, your white wines, and more.
We should go and visit him.
Yes, it was a surprise visit.
Getting-
Hello!
Yeah, we're here. I like the idea of
My hat!
my hat. Getting drunk in Castro Nuno.
Yeah.
Oh, great. So, a quick word about the grape. Just a quick mention about Albio, because we have had it a couple of times. This is an autochthonous variety of Castilla y León. It's really the superstar of Madrid. So if you go west to the Madrid mountains, you'll find most of the white wines there are Albio. It's really the principal high-quality white wine grape of the region. But really, you'll find it in a bit of Castilla y León, like Roque mentioned earlier, Balduero, which is Ribera del Duero. So it's really a Castilla, a northern Madrid variety. And we've had references of the wine back to the sort of the 17th century, so it's fairly old, to be fair. A chap called Gabriel Alonso de Herrera once wrote that the wine is very clear, with gentle colour and taste, which I think is about the most perfect description. It's a powerful but gentle and soft and kind of creamy wine. What is interesting, I mentioned the high glycerol and the high sugar content. Similar to Moscatel, this lovely juicy Albio that you see here in the photo was often also a very popular, what we call table variety, a table grape. So most wine grapes, when you eat them off the vine, are not particularly nice. Not nice, just they can be, especially the white grapes, they can be quite astringent and they can be quite sort of bitter and sharp sometimes. But some varieties are very, very juicy, very full of sugar, and Albio is one of those varieties. And as mentioned, you get these lovely golden coloured, potent wines with a high level of sugar. Often, however, quite a low acidity, which is why I'm really impressed by La Golosa Perezosa, because it's got a nice sharp acidity to it. And it is quite common in wines that are made with this grape that you often do actually get a bit of unfermented sugar left. It's quite common, which is why often honey is a word attributed to this grape. One other interesting thing, we have a wine upstairs called Rosalito, which is officially a rosé, but it's not really a rosado. It's a Clarete. So Albio in Castilla y León is a very traditionally popular grape to make these co-fermented white wine, red wine, rosés called claretes, and it's often added to red wines in Ribera del Duero to give it a bit of lift. I believe, I'm not sure, maybe I'm wrong, maybe you'll know, previous vintages of Alexander the Great or Carvejas had Albillo?
No. No, Valderiz has Albillo.
Valderiz, there you go. I knew there was something. So we have some big, sexy Ribera del Duero reds with like 2% of Albillo, 3% just to lift
That
it a
is
little bit.
another clarete, very dark clarete.
This is the darkest clarity I've ever seen. So basically, Albillo, we've done it a couple of times on the podcast, not a podcast, on the tastings. It's a magnificent grape, but it's like still quite a behind the scenes grape sometimes. But it can make these boozy, off dry ones. It can make elegant, sort of almost French elegant level ones. It can be in claretes. It can be a table grape. It's an amazing grape. You just don't see it very often, which is why we're here.
We mentioned before
I
this.
feel drunk already after just 2 hours.
Well, I'm not surprised. We mentioned before this was a signature wine, Vino de Autor.
Yeah.
What does it really mean? Vino de Autor is one category, a category, one more than the categories you can find in wine, a part of red, white, sparkling, or
Rioja wine.
in Rioja by regions. You can organize the wines by more industrial or more autor or signature wines. What does that really mean? That means that the winemaker, the enologist, normally is as a qualified enologist, it can be actually a nice, a farmer with a nice instinct.
I didn't know where you were going to go with that. Could be a farmer with a nice
Instinct.
instinct.
But normally it's an enologist that supervised all the parts of the process of making the wine. Since, as you can see, Esteban was working in the vineyard, and he takes care of the fertilizers, of the plagues the vines can suffer, to the harvest, to the fermentation, to the bottling, to the design of the. He takes care
His hands are
of everything.
all over the process. Yeah.
Also, he has these guys, these winemakers, have the knowledge enough for taking care of their wines in all those processes, given them like their personal mark, their personal touch. It's like
It's like a restaurant, like when your restaurant says like something by Robert.
yeah, it's when you go to a restaurant and you have a plate of carbonara spaghetti, and you eat it, and it's fine, it's wonderful, and you're happy. But imagine that they are so good that you say, whoa.
Who did this?
Who is behind this spaghetti? And
Who's behind the spaghetti? What are you? Is that you, Esteban?
Stefan, what are you doing?
Get out of my spaghetti.
No, so that what happens here. You want to know more about who's behind this wine. It doesn't follows the wheels
Traditional.
of the market or the trends of the market. He's creating the wine he has in his mind.
It's right there to see. You know.
Yeah, it's like, this is my wine. This is the product I wanted to do. Of course, they play with they are not like, what do I say? They are not like God. Like they have everything. They play what they have with the resources they have.
Yeah, but they want. I think it's like.
But with those limited resources, they can build their personal wine.
I think it's like it's two things. I think. I mean, it's a bit like us. You know, who knows? Maybe.
We are God.
We're gods. We're gods of you.
I am Dionysus.
If
you are
we
Bacchus.
wanted to, we could have opened this shop, bought the space, and offered to franchise with somebody. But no, we're too cool for that. So the other option is you, as shop owners, or you as winemaker, you are the brand.
Yes.
You're not buying a region here. but you are. But you're not buying a regional style. You're not buying a grape. You're not saying, I like Albariños. No, you're buying into this crazy wine genius who's out in the middle of wherever making his or her wine. Also, on a regulation front, kind of like Rocky was saying, it's his decision. He wants to make the wines he really wants to make. So he has complete control. Now, it probably is more difficult for him to sell his wines. You know, imagine tomorrow Esteban says, you know what? I'm going to Rioja. I'm going to make a Crianza Tempranillo. Fine, but easy to sell. But, you know, you find these vinos de autor, these signature wines, are usually people, you know, men and women who are so obsessed with wine, and they are either, in this case, they find an area with these abandoned vineyards and they think, this is the place, or they think, I want to make this kind of wine, where do I go? But it gives them, like you said, but like God, complete control. So his stamp is on every wine, and it's, I don't know, it's, I like it. I think it's quite beautiful, really.
Normally these wines are very high quality wines. And because they play with very limited resources sometimes, this way of working doesn't fit with the industrial.
Yeah. It's like the antithesis, isn't it?
Yeah, exactly. So that's why also it's they work with very small productions, very small vintages. So and for that reason, the price normally tends to be higher.
Yeah.
But this is more or less what a signature wine is.
Yeah, I think, I mean, we also should mention it's not regulated, as in...
Exactly, it's not an official qualification.
There's no such thing as, this is a vino de autor. Because in theory, this is vino de mesa. In theory, it's table wine.
It doesn't belong to an official wine region, so it is vino de mesa. But hey, guy, what a vino de mesa!
That's a nice table. It's a good table. Didn't you tell me something about the artist? Do you remember?
Oh yeah, we have some good friends, clients in the shop.
Funky
we are very into the graphic design world, and they recognize the artist behind the. Yeah. They said, "Oh, this is
my God,
blah, blah, blah.
Jose Pernazquez." You're like,
oh, really?
Yeah, okay.
Yeah. Oh, good job.
Yeah, well done. Good for you.
Well, this is what a signature wine is. So if you find a signature wine in your wine shop or in our wine shop, for sure it's going to be a different wine.
I genuinely I'm loving this wine. I don't know if it's because it's really good, or if it's because it's the first thing I've tasted in 3 days, or if it's the first wine I have tasted since Saturday.
Okay.
But it's really good.
Well, or maybe it's the 15% alcohol.
Might be that.
Thank you very much for being there. That's all we had to say, right?
Yeah, so thank you again to Esteban, and thank you for the most charming video I think we've received. Monday is the last, and I will be a year older.
Tasting of the May box.
The last of the May box. And it's going to be even more alcoholic. Yay! On Monday we're going to have a big, boozy, sexy garnacha, 16% alcohol if I remember, from a region which somehow we haven't done. We thought we did, but we didn't.
So try to clean your schedule for Tuesday.
Yes, any meetings, cancel them now.
At least until 3 p.m.
At least until 3 p.m. Yeah. So we'll see you on Monday.
See you.